opening prayer, please. The director of prayer is Mrs. Caroline Williams. Please, may we rise and take opening prayer led by the director, PRS Social Education. Thank you.
May we rise and take the opening prayer. Our dear Lord, we bless your name. We appreciate you for your faithfulness. We are blessed to see the brightening of another new day. Blessed be in the name of Jesus. Amen. Thank you for this conference. Thank you for the hand of collaboration between the State Ministry of Education and TechPlus. Thank you because this is a reality. We give you all the praise and honor in the name of Jesus. Come and educate us. Come and help us so that we'll be able to gather all the information and data we need for the progress of Cross River State. Thank you because we know you have heard us and you do exceedingly above all we have asked. This we ask in no other name than in the precious name of Jesus.
Call on the rep of the Super Chairman for review messages. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Please, I'm just trying to put my shoe in a very big shop. So please, let's stay with me. The Honorable Commissioner for Education, the Permanent Secretary, the directors, the ES, the Chairman, NAPS, the dignitaries invited into this summit. Permit me to stand on the existing protocol. I am here to represent the Executive Chairman, Universal Basic Education Board, SUBE, in Cross River State, in the person of Senator Dr. Stephen Adibode. He is very, very engaged in another assignment that His Excellency the Governor has assigned him to do. At this time, he's as we do, trying to walk towards what we are doing here. And so he's unavoidably absent, but his spirit and mind is here with all of us. Thank you very much. And that's why they have given me an address here to read on his behalf. An address by the Executive Chairman, State Universal Basic Education Board, on the occasion of Cross River State Education Summit, held on the 9th of November 2022 at Dani Hotel in Calabar. This summit is very apt. Today there is a paradigm shift in education from quantity to quality education, with a full backing of reliable data for planning and utilization of our valuable resources. Digital transformation is a bedrock to sustain the vision of this administration led by His Excellency Senator Professor Ben Ayale. The Executive Chairman, Dr. Stephen Adibode, is aware and has already keyed into the process at the basic level of education. So far, SUBE collaborated with the Ministry of Education for 2019-2020, 2020-2021 harvesting of data across the state in preparation for BESTA. Universal Basic Education Commission through the State Universal Basic Education Board has just concluded the 2022 National Percent Audit and the mock-up last month to showcase the readiness of UPE and SUBE for digital transformation. At this junction, I want to inform you that reasonable progress has been made in the sector The state has invested much in infrastructural development through construction and rehabilitation of classrooms, provision of tables and chairs, instructional materials, training and training of teachers, and recently, the government of Cross River State liaised with the government of South Korea to supply technical equipment to make the evolution of smart school Kakun Kokudu a reality in Cross River State. The government is at the verge of engaging 113 newly recruited staff to man the smart school. All this is to ensure that there is digital transformation in our school system. However, most still need to be done. I call on all stakeholders to give their support for the future of our children. Sustainable educational future is a product of reliable data. We need the support of the private schools in this regard. My trust is that with the caliber of dignitaries in this summit, the challenge of data will be a thing of the past. Accepted by the esteemed leader, Senator Dr. Stephen Adibode, Executive Chairman, State University of Education. Thank you very much.
I'd like to quickly introduce Mr. Manuel as my co-author for this event. Mr. Manuel is the Chief Admin Officer, Ministry of Education. Morning, sir. Mrs. Anita Keyon, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you once again to this Education Summit 2022. I'd like to call for goodwill messages, please. Goodwill messages from our distinguished Cabinet Secretary, followed by the chairman or the representative of SED, the chairman of SUBEC or the representative, the ES of SED, the chairman of NAPEPS, the chairman AUT, the Statistician General of the State, and the chairman House Committee on Education or a representative, please. So I'd like to start with our very predictable Cabinet Secretary, Mrs. Anita Keyon. Now please maintain your own message.
Let me get to start on the already established system. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome to this summit. whatever we are doing, we are meeting up with the times. We started along the line, and that's why we have ERC. But a little along the line, we couldn't continue, even though we are still doing skeletal of what we're supposed to do. But this time around, with the cooperation of everybody, we are going to go digital. I really want to thank Future X for what they are doing. They are doing a good job. I'm being updated every day of what is happening. And that's why we are having all our ESs, our CSs, and all those stakeholders in the education sector. So after the summit, when we call on you and say, do this for us, you will do it because you know along the line, if you don't keep in, then you will be left behind. Your local government will be left behind. The stakeholders, NAPS, and all the rest of them are here. We have people, if they are not here now, they will be here. From the mission schools, the private schools, the public schools, everybody together. The ministry cannot just run on its own without all of you. And so I know what is happening. And I'm also calling on all our people, the ESs, the CSs, and all those in the education sector. Please let's join hands together and make sure that this project is a success.
Thank you very much, the Permanent Secretary of Education. Please, I'd like to, at this juncture, call on the following dignitaries to take their place in the high table, high seat in front of you. I'd like to call on the Permanent Secretary, sorry, ma'am, Minister of Education. All right. Please, all right. I'd like to call on the Director, Special Duties and Innovations, Lagos State Ministry of Education, Mr. Adebayo, please. I'd like to also call on the rep of the Spec Chairman. Please take your seats also on the high table, high seats. Please, can you take your seats? Please, thank you very much. I'd like to also call on Dr. Mike Ikre, the NAPS chairman, to take a seat on the right hand. Dr. Mike,
For digital transformation. At this junction, I want to inform you that visible progress has been made in the sector. The state has invested much in infrastructural development through construction and the application of classrooms, provision of tables and chairs.
the Honorable Commissioner, Minister of Education and Chief Post, Dr. Lydia Mankey, I welcome you, sir. I'd like to also, at this point, recognize these personalities. I'd like to recognize the directors in the Ministry of Education, Director PRS, Mrs. Caroline Sikwede. I'd like to also, who is here present, thank you, ma'am. I'd like to also recognize Director, Quality Assurance. I'd like to also recognize the presence of Barrister Francis Uche, Director PRC. I'd like to recognize the MOE staff, the PRS department here. I'd like to also recognize the ESDs, the ESD Akamba, ESD Akablo, the ESD for Bakassi, for Biase, for Calabar Municipality, for Calabar South, the ESD Olukani, the ESD Abi, the ES Bodi, the ES Eto, the ES Ubra, the ES Oliko, the You're welcome, sir.
Let me start by recognizing the one we call our the Honorable Commissioner for Quality Education, Honorable Dr. Godfrey Manke, a friend, a brother and uncle to the National Association of Proprietors of Private Schools, NAPS, chapter, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education. In no particular order, however, I wish to recognize departmental heads, Ministry of Education, CSDs, here present, executive secretaries, Ministry of Education, from the 18 local government areas across the state. Very distinguished guests from the West who have come to tap from the blessings across the state. I recognize you. And Chief Host, I don't know who the Chief Host, I want to recognize Dr. Patrick, and the organizer of this event. I feel delighted to be called upon to give a movie message. And my movie message centered around the Ministry of Education, their friendliness to NAPS. I will be tempted to say that Commissioner for Education for Quality Education, given the opportunity, I wish that he doesn't move to anywhere because given the Ministry of Education is the possible steps. Today is yet another milestone. Last year, we have one of the best education capacity building organized by the Ministry of Education for proprietors of private schools. One of its kind has never happened. I use this opportunity to appreciate our parents, our fathers, and guardians, the Ministry of Education across the state.
In the absence of that, I'd like to most respectfully call on the Honorable Commissioner for Education, Honorable Dr. E.J. Amake, for his welcome address and opening remarks, please. Honorable Commissioner, sir.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by recognizing Dr. Patrick again. Please come forward. The President Minister of Education, our very distinguished resource persons, please come to the head. Resource persons from the West Lagos State, all the way from Lagos State, to help us transfer the ICT knowledge to Cross River State. I want to welcome you to Cross River State. Where is Professor? Okay. I recognize the chairman of NAPS, Cross River State, indefatigable open mic again, representative of SUBEC, Senator Dr. Steve Ode. My fellow directors and heads of departments, planning, research and statistics, quality assurance, schools, exams and records, educational research center, and other very the man who is at the brain and at the center of digitalizing the educational sector in Cross River State. Please put your hands together. When I came into office in 2020, I received plenty of proposals for digitalizing the ministry. I had hoped and had wished that on my table and desk, I should be able to know which child did not attend school in which school. I should be able to know with the touch of the finger which principal did not attend school today. I should be able to know which child graduated from the Ministry of Education in 1970, 1983. I should be able to know how many actual number of primary schools that we have in Cross River State. As I speak with you, we do not have reliable data on that. That data is just being generated now. We do not know the number of secondary schools. We do not know the number of private schools. As I say. So we should have a situation where on the click of the system, the computer, you should be able to know how many number of mathematics teachers we have in Cross River State, how many number of physical education teachers we have in Cross River State. Just that. This will not materialize in my tenure. I have just about 7 months to go. But I know that the foundation that we have laid and the foundation that he has brought will sustain and will bring this dream to reality and fruition. It will interest you to know that this dream of digitalizing the Ministry of Education and the education sector in Cross River State is at no cost to Cross River State government. Please help me with a very standing and arousing ovation. Put a hand together for the Federal Ministry of Education requires of us, expects of us annually to present data. And data, as far as the World Bank is concerned, is very key. And data, as far as national planning is concerned, is very key. We have principals who have 2 registers in school. The official register and the other one. When staff who are charged with the responsibility of gathering this data come, they present the official register. They do so because they have intent to keep back what is due the state government as charges and as school fees for the children. So a school that has 400 will declare 300. 150. The other 150 plus the other 150 is in another register. But when we are presenting this data to the national, and the national are coming for confirmation, they will come and see Y figure different from X figure. And that will not go well for us as a state and as far as national planning is concerned. What this gentleman has come to do in Cross River State is to correct and checkmate all this, and that in future, if you go to the exam department, if there is a fire incident in the exam department, because of it, all the records will be gone. Because we don't have it in any hard disk, we don't the whole files will be gone. We won't have any data. Army will write to confirm whether Dr. Martin graduated from primary school 6 in 1982. We want to find out. If you go there, you will not have the records again. But with the digitalization of the ministry, and as we are going, all this data will be available. We will put all these things inside a digital system and a digital compact, where at a single click, you will know that so person graduated from the ministry in 1984. So today marks a historic and triumphant movement of the ministry to a digital space. As I'll be leaving the shoes behind for this gentleman who has also coordinated with the private schools, and I think he has tremendous cooperation of Mike, my elder friend. Please, I urge the State Universal Education Board, I urge the Secondary Education Board, I urge other MBAs of the ministry, under the ministry, to cooperate with him and provide available data as soon as possible. Any information he needs from you, please provide it. All the executive secretaries, the executive secretary of Obama is here. Incidentally, that's the executive secretary of the local government. I think that's more than okay. I hear that he has sent part of the data. He has escaped my wrath this morning. All ESs, I'll be on you between now and the next few months. Provide all the necessary data. All principals, all the ESs, all the principals to the institution. Calabar Municipality ES. All the principals in your jurisdiction and all the head teachers to provide every available data that this man will require of you. My director of planning and research, where is she? I know the application for 2 million naira to secure data for the year will no longer be necessary. Courtesy of Dr. Patrick. Am I right? Thank you very much. Please, let's put your hands together for me. We want to assure Future X that we will, irrespective of the fact that he has brought the food on the table free of charge for us, we will not swallow it free of charge. We will return it and reciprocate as far as any information, any support, financial and material that he will require from us, we will supply to him. I'd like to urge all the stakeholders to please cooperate with him. Let me thank particularly Professor Jenny, the chairman of Tech Plus Digital Systems. Let me particularly thank him and the remaining backers of this gentleman who has brought this to us. We have received proposals of 150 million per annum, another 150 million for another year. The money we do not have. The man came into my office one morning and I said, "Can you do a presentation?" He did the presentation for 2 minutes. And I asked him, "Go straight, how much is involved?" He said, "Nothing." He said, "Nothing." I asked him, "Are you from World Bank?" He said, "No, it's not from World Bank." We need people like this who can support the educational sector. Education is key. Education is key in any society. Education is key. Government cannot bear it alone. We need people who will be committed, who will be dedicated, who will sponsor, who will Northwest Filling Station. She has adopted a school in Ikoransa. She gives the children food every Thursday. She pays the school, renovates the school constantly. Adopt a school today. Think of what you can contribute to education, the education of young children. That is why every proposal, every request on my table for levy and for charges is KIV. Every request, every charge, any additional thing that will add additional $1 to the children, KIV. Because I want the children to go to school. If you go to the schools during fees drive and see children on the roads, you will feel very bad. You feel very bad. But to my principals, who probably many are not here, I urge you, please be kind to these children. The ESs, be kind to these children because they are the future of this country. Do whatever thing you can in any position. It's not about money, it's not about how much money you will make. It's about how much services and how many services you can provide. That's what is necessary for you to bring on board. Let me thank Dr. Patrick very specially. He has been very committed. He's a gentleman, very intelligent, very smart. He has taken over the entire ministry. For his plan and dream to digitally transform the education sector for a sustainable future. As a ministry, on behalf of myself, Amake, and my family, we are very grateful to you, and I shall remain grateful to you until death. Because the dream I have wished, part of the dream I have wished for the education sector is coming to fruition. I want to thank you very much and say, may God bless you. Amen. May God bless you. Amen. For the resource persons who are going to do justice to their topics and for the agenda so presented, we want to thank you. We would like to hear what is happening in Lagos and other states, particularly the Southwest. The Southwest are the leaders in education. In Ekiti State, almost every family has 2 or 3 professors in Ekiti State. Yes. Almost every family has 2 or 3 professors. So the West are the leaders in education. Almost every industry, even in the finance industry. So we'd like to hear much and hear a lot from you. All the ESCs that are here, please, I would like you to stand. Let me have an idea of how many ESCs that are here. Wow, that's a wonderful number. 14. So only about 4 are absent. Please sit down. Please put your hands together for the members of the press. Where is Cody? Frank? Your stepbrother? He's just coming. Okay. So I'd like to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for attending this education summit. So that as we go back, we put what we would have learned from here in use. Let me thank the digital gentlemen who are standing here. I know that I am part of your team. I want to thank you. And the corpers who are working with you, we want to thank them and wish that we ask for more corpers for you from the directorate. We want to thank you very much for your commitment and for what you are doing. Ladies and gentlemen, but he's still working. Please put your hands together for him. The director of ERC, Dr. Patrick will be working gradually to collapse your office in future. Because all that we are doing will be collapsed into the digital system. That is not immediately anyway. Better of results. Where's the better result? When are you dying? When are you dying? Next year? Okay, thank God, that's next year. So by then, and then after, your office will be collapsed. Everything will be by the touch of the finger. I'll stay in my office and I'll know whether my PS whatever my PS is. And I will know in my elementary school, I will know if his principal is in school that morning. And at the terminal exams, I will also know which is the best child in mathematics in the state, just with a click of the finger. Please, that is wonderful, and that's where we are working to, and that's how we're moving to. That's where Cross River State education sector is moving to, and that is my wish and that's my dream. And that also in future, education will be free. Also in future, education will be free, no charges. We have failed as a government. We have failed. If we have not failed, children will not be paid school fees and will not be asking for additional charges to construct a fence, to construct borehole. All those are things that we should ordinarily provide and not to transfer the levies and bills on children who are struggling to pay. Most of the children in public schools are poor men children, house helps. But do you know what? They turn out to be the most intelligent. Yes. You can pick the most intelligent ones among them. I look forward to having free education in Cross River State. We will get there. So ladies and gentlemen, let me finally recognize my person, very indefatigable, hardworking, a friend, a sister, a lady who is very passionate and committed to education in Cross River State. When they transfer her, I got angry. When they transfer her, for how many months? How many months? Up to 1 year. Yes, I got angry and they should bring her back. She is very committed. Please put your hands together for her. So ladies and gentlemen, I charge you to remain committed and sustain your cooperation with Dr. Patrick as he drives us to the next phase of sustainable future in education. It is on that note that I would like to most respectfully and humbly declare this summit open.
Thank you very much, sir. Please permit me to once again call on the indefatigable Dr. Patrick Adeneye for the future exit scorecard in Cross River State. Dr. Patrick, please. Please let's put our hands together once again.
Sorry, I'm going to make emotional at this point. And we did a presentation to him. I've worked in organizations of high value for many years. I've done a couple of presentations, both locally and internationally. When I presented to the Honorable Commissioner, 2 minutes into the presentation, he said I should stop. I was scared. I said, what happened? He said, what do you need to make this happen in this state? So just need the approval letter. And that's how I gave us the approval. That's the fastest approval I've ever gotten in my whole life. I'm not from this state, but I love this state so much. One forever. The other commissioner has been personally involved in making the digitalization of the state a reality. When I bring reports and updates to him, he doesn't call someone else to do it. He said, who else data are we waiting for? He gets the number of the person and calls whoever is, delaying the process. And they have been in the center of driving the entire process, to reality. When we started the whole journey, it looks as if we are not going to get anywhere because of a couple of pushbacks. At some point when we started, he told me, there are some areas across the states that there is no network. I said, okay, we have a plan for them. There are some schools that are located in areas where there is no light. I said, okay, we have a plan for them. For any organization or any state to be able to get the required support in the current world today needs data. Cross River State is not left out in the setback of data. Even at the national level, there's a data debt. It is a problem. I was opportune to be at a presentation in Abuja 2 months ago, if I'm correct, where we have School of Directors from Ministry of Education, Federal Ministry of Education, and representative of the Private School Association of School there too. And there was a little bit of arguments about who is to give data, who is not giving data. The government are trying their best to do that, what private schools also in place for it. The data is the new world. It's the new place where everybody must be for proper planning to happen. I want to give a lot of thanks to all the ESs, to everybody in the States, to the fantastic directors we have, to my mother, the Prime Secretary. I get into our room the way I get into our office the way I get into my mother's school. And she asks, how can I be personally involved to drive this matter? And everybody, every director I try to speak to in the ministry, they are, you know what, this is what we want at this time around. We are setting up a foundation where we've gone to a lot of states. I hope the Honorable Commissioner is very high extreme, even better than my own biological father, and I will tell you why today. We've gone to about 17 states, apart from Lagos State. All the other states said, don't worry. We have something we are having in common. We know they don't have anything. But when I go to this state, the Honorable Commissioner does not know me from anywhere. The day he saw me at this presentation was the first day I met him. I've never even spoken to him on the phone. We just tried and on that day he approved it. To me, it tells me that these are the kind of leaders that understand the dynamics and the requirements of global educational standards. He pushed it through for us. He made the journey so easy for us all to. He gave us the landing that gave us today the report I'm about to present. We've been able to go through the entire state, but not finish collecting the data. Just like this. Just keep doing it. Keep going to the metrics so I don't take so much of our time. Keep going to the metrics. Yes, I want to quickly give an update of what we have been able to do so far. We are not completed. The team that we have with us, I also want to thank them so much. They work relentlessly. The Future X team, right, is stand up, please. The Future X team, please. These are folks that don't have closing time. They don't have the days they work. When I say they don't have the days they work, if there's another day between Sunday and Monday, they're always ready to work. I call them at any time. When I say anytime, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., I need this data to be done. And there has never been a failure to it. I also use this opportunity to thank the members of the Board of Directors of Techno Digital Solutions. A couple of them have not been to Cross River State before, but they love your state. When we're creating a pool of where do we take Future X to, a lot voted for Cross River State. I don't know why, but I think God has a plan for this great state. As of today, like the Honorable Commissioner said, as of today, we've been able to register 1,458 public schools. That is the number we have in Cross River State. Before this time around, permit me to say, different departments have different numbers. It is not what they wish for, but they needed a platform where we can have a unified record. Today, Future X has been able to come up with that, to give us a unified data. That every session we know the number of schools that is starting with us. We know the number of students that is starting with us, and we can be able to do proper planning and get the desired result. I can confidently say, or with a certain, that this state is the state that received the least of interventions. Am I correct, sir? Yes. I was talking to one of the speakers yesterday and I said, sir, we are not receiving, we are not receiving interventions as we should. He said, where is the data? I said, before we do anything, well, now we have data. And people want to see how we are going to work together and see how to bring some interventions to the state. There are some states, I don't want to mention states in the north, there are 7 interventions. We are struggling to even get one. But with this data, those donors will be looking for us. And before I start presenting the data, it will be unfair for me to not to talk about Honorable Henry, the NAPS president. I will confidently tell you that the fear we had when we got to this state was how we are going to unite the public sector and the private sector. I earlier mentioned that when I was in Abuja, the directors for the Federal Ministry of Education and Associations, they were not guides. Ministry were complaining they don't give them data. Private schools were saying, you are not giving us support. I turned from a presenter into a judge who had to interfere between the two bodies. But the truth had to be told. We both need ourselves. Future X is coming to amalgamate the two bodies as a single entity so that we can fight that common problem we have in education. Whatever the situation of Nigeria today, this is as a result of our education in recent years. It is sad to note, most of us attend here, to a great extent, we attended public school. But none of us want our children to attend public schools again. Am I correct? Yes. But I will tell you confidently that the story is going to change across the state. We are going to seek to go to, I don't even know whether I go to private school or I go to public school, because both entities will be fantastic work at the end of the day. I want to honorably recognize his presence, especially. I met with NAPS president. I was at one of the events and I told him I will carry it to my state. He has been able to give us a soft landing. We had fear. How is the public going to work with the private? The day we got to his office, he said, you are coming from the Honorable Commissioner of Quality Education. He said, this is a man that when they go for events, while other commissioners are sitting aside and their NAPS president are sitting aside, our Honorable Commissioner of Quality Education will say, Mike, come and eat in my place. He does not and immediately I presented to him that we are coming from the ministry to make this, to come up with this. He said, look at me. I have about 7 proposals with me. But for Honorable Commissioner, who is an highly respected person, whose vision I can never fault, he said, such a support in my life before. He called me in the middle of the night. He called me during the day. He's the one that will tell me what is the next thing we have to do. I will summon my members. They have to get it done. The state is moving to a digital level and we must join it. Please, let me thank you very much. Thank you very much. I want to give us an idea that in the comfort of the commissioner's office and all the director's office and the commissioner's office, and the comfort of their phone, at any particular hour within the day, they can easily know how many private schools they have across the state, how many students they have across the state, how many attended school the previous day. When we begin to know these numbers, we're able to tackle that problem of out of children school. Let me give you one reason I don't take so much of our time again. We have already 280 secondary schools across the state, public secondary schools. Per zone, we have Calabar Zone. Is it public? Okay. We have Calabar Zone. We have Ogoja Zone. We have Aiko Zone. My secretary that mix up the numbers. Most of them are. So this is for public schools according to their local government. We've been able to capture everybody's data down the schools. It took us a couple of months to be able to arrive at how many public schools we have. We took the pain to go through all available data to be able to get this. So we have this. The numbers are still subject to be updated as time goes along. As of today, this is not the final numbers. Number of staff in the public sector, number of staff in the public sector, in the education as a teaching staff. You have that's number of male and that's number of female. The way we structure Victoria, we structure it in such a manner that this is not the final number, please. Some of us are yet to submit the data. By the time we leave this event today, we are going to send every one of us the link. As I'm talking to you, our team is updating those data. This is not the final one, but I'm giving us a scorecard of what we have been able to do so far. We have nothing else. Then, this is what we've been doing, we've been able to do so far. Total number of students, this is not the final number. A lot of schools in the local government are still defaulting in submitting data. This is what we've been able to get so far, our local government. So we all know the executive secretaries to please make the data available for us so that we can have them in the system. Then, there is a problem that plagues the entire nation, even from the public private sector. Some private schools just go into extinction for whatever reason or the other, and data is ever lost. A student, not a student, it's an elderly person, he got admission, I don't know if you want to tell them, to a university in Canada, and they told him to provide his primary school reports. The school does not exist again. He lost the admission, he lost the scholarship. But that will not be the story again across the state. The new story is that every student in the state is expected to have an ID number, both in the public and in the private. So if a student moves from a private school to a public school, from the platform we move your data. If you move from the public to the private, we move your data. And what good news for the private school is that no student will be running from school to school owing school fees. That doesn't happen again. Of interest. If you owe a school fees in one of the schools, when you go to another school, they will flag it. Go back to that school and pay. And that will bring sanity into our system. On the behalf of the Board of Directors of Technical Digital Solutions, the entire staff who have made this happen, the leadership of the Ministry of Quality Education across the state, my most honorable
Kudu. You are all welcome. We are moving forward now to take the address by the presentation by Ambassador Dr. Oyedechi Oyewale Oyedepo. He is the founder and president of the Institute for Information Management Africa and the International University of Information Management USA. Ambassador Dr. Oyedepo is also the founder of the Records and Information Management Awareness Foundation, the publisher of Information Management World Magazine, African Journal and executive producer of Information Management World on television. He has received different awards internationally for his contribution towards the development of the information management industry in Nigeria and Africa. In 2014, he received a Great Mind of the 21st Century Award, an award presented to him by the American Biographical Institute. In 2021, he was elected to the board Friends of Research for Life, which is a global organization that has worked to reduce the knowledge gap between high-income countries and low middle-income countries by providing affordable access to high-quality scientific research. Dr. Oyedepo was recently appointed as an editorial board member of the Chief Data Officer Magazine, USA. Please, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, can we put our hands together as welcome Ambassador Dr. Oyedepo Welcome.
Thank you very much, my sister. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to stand on the existing protocol. Without taking too much of our time, we'll delve into today's presentation. And I'm going to be talking about digital transformation and data inclusion. I believe from the brief introduction, the MC has been able to give a summary about me as a person and what I do. I'm the president, chairman of the council of the Institute of Information Management in Africa, and I'm also the chief data officer ambassador for Nigeria. I'm a computer scientist. I've been in the ITI industry for over 2 decades. And a large chunk of my career was in the oil and gas sector. So because of space and time, you can actually look out for a summary of my profile on my LinkedIn account. Like you can see on the screen, on major social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and then you have my official email address. So talking about the organization that I represent, which is the Institute of Information Management, we are an international professional institute that promotes excellence in data and information management. And as a professional institute, we are established and we have 9 chapters across the globe. The institute started from Nigeria, and we have chapters in the UK, the US, Canada, in Ghana, in South Africa, in Australia, in France, and India. So as a professional institute, what do? We provide professional services. When we talk about professional services, we're talking about the fact that we promote excellence in data and information management. And in order for us to achieve that, we have platforms where we, allow professionals, to join the professional, platform to become certified, to learn best practices, lessons learned, network, and also also remain focused when we talk about career development in data and information management space. So we also provide professional training, we provide certification, we do consultancy, we help organizations, individuals and governments to develop standards, to develop specifications, to develop roadmap, just like what the Cross-River State government is trying to do. There is a need to have a roadmap talking about a digital transformation initiative. So on the screen you can see pictures from some of our global activities in the US, in Nigeria, in Australia, in the United Kingdom, in Ghana, in South Africa. And today we are going to be looking at opportunities and understanding, when we talk about digital transformation and data literacy. We're going to be looking at the importance of data, to any kind of organization. We're going to be to digital transformation as to how it can positively affect the education sector, and also to look at some of the issues and challenges being faced by organizations when we're talking about digital transformation initiative. Then lastly, we'll be talking about the legal aspects of data and information management in our society. So according to the United Nations in 2010, records are the vital resources that an organization needs to conduct their operations efficiently and effectively. Without records, no public and private agency will operate successfully. In other words, records are needed as a tool in any agency's activity. So what we're saying in essence is the fact that for every activity that we're involved in, we tend to generate data and information. This gathering alone today, lots and lots of data have been generated. Different kinds of data are actually been generated. As at the time you were coming into this hall, I believe you were accosted by the staff there for you to do proper, registration before entering to this hall. And that is a process, that's an activity that is helping to generate data. At the end of the day, we're going to be able to know those that actually attended this session physically, and even those that attended online too. So every human endeavor, there is data is always being generated in the course of doing that. And if we generate data, it means as individuals, as organizations, as governments, we need to imbibe that culture of ensuring that the data being generated in the course of our activities are properly analyzed. They are properly captured, they are properly classified, they are properly indexed, they are properly stored, they are properly protected from unauthorized access, and eventually they are properly disposed of. Because when you generate data, it is not all the data you generate that will pass for you to keep forever. So, importance of data to organization now. Data will help to provide what we refer to as corporate memory, meaning that you are going to be able, with effective data management, you'll be able to manage your activities. If you don't know where you're coming from, definitely it's going to be difficult for you to know where you're going. And that is part of the reasons why we have to take data and information management seriously as part of our business. A lot of times, you find people in different sectors of the economy, when you talk about data and information management again, they will tell you it is not their core, meaning that it is not what they do primarily. But forgetting the fact that the engine, the lifeblood of that activity is data. So if you don't have that consciousness, and you don't have the process in place, that will help you to capture data appropriately, store data appropriately, protect data appropriately, and use data appropriately, then such an organization be having issues. And it's going to be practically impossible for you to make any meaningful progress when you don't have data of past activities. And that is why what FutureX is doing is a great and laudable initiative in Calabar, because without data, there is practically nothing that can be achieved. So, data will also help when you need to make certain decisions in policy development. Data will help you to have an insight as to how well you're doing in your organization. Without accurate data, it's going to be practically impossible for you to make any meaningful progress. And for you to come up with relevant policies, regulations, and laws, you need data that is complete, you need data that is free of ambiguity, you need data that has integrity, you need data that is accessible, you need data that you can actually vouch for. And that is the only way in which you can actually achieve anything meaningful. Some of the time when you hear information from international organizations like UNESCO, World Bank, talking about certain community in Nigeria, you tend to wonder that how is it possible for an international organization to have been able to have an insight into what is going on in our local environment. All of these activities are as a result of data gathering that they have actually leveraged on using different NGOs to collect data in our environment. So, I remember when Doctor was talking earlier, we talked about the fact that having data will help you access interventions from different donors across the globe. That is true, and that is to tell us and also wake us up to know the importance of data. Because in actual fact, if you are getting, let's say for example, you are getting $500 million intervention from any donor across the globe, I can tell you that you might be happy that you are getting $500 million, grants. But the truth of the matter is that they know the worth of data they want to get from you, that they are going to collect from you is worth more than what they are giving you, and you think they are happy with it. Now, the COVID pandemic has really helped to buttress on the need for organizations to wake up, and live up to expectation when it comes to data management. Because data is now the new oil. It is now the new gold. Gone are those days when you find multinationals across the globe that are making waves, making money, that are out there, in the, let's say, automobile industry, construction, and so on and so forth. Those organizations that are doing well today are organizations that trade and deal in data. A good number of them we know around. We have the Facebook of this world, we have the LinkedIn, we have Instagram, and so a good number of them out there. They are doing well. What do they have to offer you? What are they selling? What products do they have? Nothing. But they are leading as we speak today. And that is also to let us know the fact that data is the new goal that every organization and individual needs to pay attention to. And the need for us to be data literate cannot be overemphasized. So, data literacy is very, very important. So also digital literacy. Because all of these things we're talking about now, for as individuals, as organizations, for us to be competitive. If we want to be competitive as a state in Nigeria, if Calabar really want to be competitive, then it means digital literacy, data literacy are areas that we should be looking at. In every and any activity that we're involved in, data has got pivotal role to play. I could reconnect from what the Honorable Commissioner said earlier on, and I have good news for you. The good news is the fact that digital transformation is actually not coming to take anybody's job. It's coming to upgrade your job. It's coming to upgrade whatever processes, whatever activity that you have on ground. And that is the more reason why as individuals, we need to evolve. We need to ensure that in terms of knowledge development, we are in touch. We need to ensure that we continue to improve ourselves digitally, technologically, and also evolve in innovating ideas, processes, and other initiatives that will help our organization, to continue to evolve. Because the truth of the matter is, data as a tool will help any organization when it comes to quality decision making. It's not just about making any decision, but about you making that decision that will have that positive impact on your organization. So, data will also help to achieve greater efficiency, productivity, and consistency in anything that we're doing. It will help us to meet up with requirements, industry-related requirements, regulations, laws, and so on and so forth. It will help to protect the organization's interest, the employees, the stakeholders, people you interface with, in carrying out your day-to-day activity. If you don't have quality and accurate data, it becomes practically possible to protect your organization. Because we're in a world now that we all are exposed to what we refer to as information risk. We are all exposed to what? We are all exposed to information risk, except if you don't have a phone with you, or you don't interact with any gadget that is connected to the internet. These days you see a lot of things happening on the internet. Lots of people get hacked. A lot of people, their bank accounts, hackers get into it, and they finish all the cash in it, simply because of the fact that they have failed to possess that basic skills when it comes to the use of technology. Because it's not just about you carrying a telephone that is worth 500,000, 200,000, or whatever thousand. The importance is for you as a person to be able to protect yourself and also be able to protect your network. Because the truth also still remains that if you don't protect yourself online, you are going to put your network and people that you interface with into what we still refer to as information risk. A number of times when accounts get hacked like that, some of these hackers will start going into your contacts, inboxes, seeking for help, asking them to transfer money to them, or send credits to them on their phone, and things like that. And because of the fact that those people you are connected to, they so much have that confidence in you, that somebody they know very well, they are obliged only to discover at the end of the day that your account has been hacked. So most of the time when our accounts get hacked, we are always 99% responsible for the hacking. Because if you are taking certain precautions and we've acquainted ourselves with basic knowledge that is required, then we are going to be able to protect ourselves. And that is where digital literacy comes in. It also helps to document the organization's activities and achievements. Like the Honorable Commissioner mentioned earlier on, you should be able to tell, 1979 set in a particular school. Can we have a list of those that graduated that year? And the best of the bottom, you should be able to get that. And without quality data, you cannot achieve it. So how can we achieve this in every organization? Number one is the people. When I say people, because this is always a gross misconception. Anytime you hear the word digital transformation, what usually comes to people's mind is technology. They think you have to buy computers, you have to connect to network, you have to do so many things for you to be digitally transformed. And this is also responsible for why a lot of digital transformation projects have collapsed. They have failed in the past because the necessary steps were not adhered to. So when you are talking about digital transformation, the people. So when I say the people, we're talking about individuals, we're talking about employees, we're talking about all of us in this room. The need for all of us to have what it takes in terms of skills and knowledge. We need to be acquainted with the basics, with the fundamentals, when we talk about data and information management. Then you can now be talking about the process. When you have people that have the knowledge, then you talk about the process. Because the truth of the matter remains that the most important asset in any organization, the number one asset in any organization is the people. So when there's no amount of investment to put in a business or in a government or in any kind of establishment, if you don't have people to run the process, nothing is going to happen. Forget about artificial intelligence of the people. There is no way technology will come and take over 100%. You still need people, to run the process. And that is why we need to position ourselves as individuals. Don't let's say we are all to learn. Nobody is all to learn. Digital transformation has presented opportunities that we all can actually take advantage of. In fact, I'm proud to say anywhere I go to, my vice president is a retiree. And you need to see, she works with, she retired working for the federal government. But you need to see the way she interacts with technology. It's so amazing. So it's not a matter of age. It's not a matter of, I'm about to retire. In fact, the fact that you are retiring very soon is the more reason why you should make sure and ensure that you acquire the skills. So that by the time you are retired, you are not tired, you are able to take advantage of the digital platform. Because the truth is, there are lots and lots of opportunity out there that digital transformation has actually provided. So when you have qualified people, you have people that are informed, you have people that understand the essence of digital transformation. Then you talk about your business process. This is another key area that every organization needs to focus on. For every activity being performed in every organization, there is a need to ensure that you are able to document your business processes. Because it is when you document your business processes, that is when you can transcribe it into digital. Sometimes, some individuals will tell you that why they are having issues around data and information management is because the organization has not actually invested in technology. It doesn't work that way. The truth remains that before you deploy technology, you have to ensure that your business processes are working efficiently, physically first. Anything you are able to perform physically and successfully, don't attempt to digitize it, because what it will amount to will be confusion at the end of the day. Technology is an enabler. Technology will come to enable an efficient system. So if you have an inefficient system and you are trying to deploy technology, you are actually going to compound the problem. We have seen series of cases, we have seen organizations spend millions of dollars on digital transformation initiative, and at the end of the day, they are not getting anything in return. What they are getting include, confusion, and at the end of the day, they are unable to even move from where they are. Some of them have to go back to their physical processes, to continue to operate. So it is not about you jumping into technology. You have to make sure that you take care of your people first, educate them, then look at your business processes, document them appropriately, then you can now be talking about technology. So by the time you bring in, technology is actually for you to bring in to enhance whatever process or processes that you have. For example, if let's say you manually process payroll for your employees, it takes like 1 week to manually process payroll for all the employees. You could bring in technology and within seconds, you'll be able to process the same volume of payroll. So what is digital transformation now? By definition, digital transformation is the process of using digital technologies to create new or modify existing business processes, culture, and customer experience to meet changing business and market requirements. This reimagining of business in the digital age is digital transformation, and that's according to Salesforce.com. We are moved from paper to spreadsheets to start applications for managing our processes. We have the chance to imagine how we do our activities, how we engage our students, staff, and engage public with digital technology on our side. So in the education sector, digital transformation has got a lot to offer. When it comes to the various activities that have to do with registration, taking classes, documenting results, and so many other activities that are involved. So the digital transformation process, has different components that we actually need to go into. We talk about digitization, because sometimes people do mix all of these things up. When we talk about digitization, we're talking about the ability to be able to convert physical documents into electronic documents. That is, to some of us, we're familiar with the word scanning. So when you have physical documents, you want to scan them so as to be able to access them electronically. And that is what we refer to as digitalization. So when we talk about digitalization now, digitalization is now the automation of those processes I mentioned earlier on. Those things you do manually. Maybe for example, let's say processing of vacation now. Originally, you need to write a letter to your supervisor that, okay, you want to embark on vacation, so month of the year. You have to physically take it to your supervisor, for approval. Then after getting the approval, they need to send it to your HR department for processing. From HR department to finance department to process your leave allowance. And from there, your account gets, credited. So that is a manual process, for example. So with digital transformation, this is something that you can actually incorporate on your intranet. Within your organization, if you have an intranet, you can incorporate it there for people to click, for employees within the organization to click on a link that will open up a form. They will fill out the form, submit the form online. The form gets into the business workflow within the organization, and your supervisor gets an alert on his or her phone that he or she has got something to approve. He or she opens it up. The workflow allows him or her to approve or reject your application for vacation. So your supervisor does not necessarily have to see you to approve your vacation. From there, immediately after your supervisor approves, it gets sent to the HR department for processing. And before you know it, you receive the credit alert on your phone. That is a simple, process of digitizing the manual process that I just explained now. So you can see how seamless it is. Even if your supervisor is on vacation or is out of town, he or she can attend to you from anywhere. So don't just when you say, you can't embark on leave because your supervisor or your manager is out of town. So those are part of the benefits that digital transformation brings into bear. Then when we talk about digital transformation now, it now means that you are able to transform all your business processes digitally now. You are able to run your activities digitally. I remember in the late 80s to early 90s, most organizations, by the time they purchase desktop computers, within the organization, they will tell you, we have computerized our operations. Having computers within the organization is not automation. It's not complete automation. Because if you have computers on all the workstations and your processes are still being done manually, then it means you are not really and truly, accepted and also implemented digital transformation. So managing education can be very challenging because of the population and some very obvious complexity and sophistication. So digital transformation will help to make all of these things serious. Forget about the fact that you are not losing anything. In fact, your department becomes upgraded. And because of the fact that you have not acquired the skills, the organization is not going to look anywhere else that promotes you from where you are to the next level. Because now you have acquired additional skill. And because of that skill, you are able to fit into the new system. So coordinating department and agencies of educational institutions to achieve the core mission of teaching is always a big challenge for school management. So transforming school system with high technology enabled automation tools to support the academic and administrative processes will make it easy to achieve whatever goal that the school is set out to achieve. To succeed in everyday tasks of school administration, there is an emerging demand to modernize the education system with cloud, mobile, and digital technology to improve operational efficiency and manage the institution effectively. So with digital transformation now, there are so many things that you can do without physically going to the office. We all will recollect during the COVID-19 lockdown, we had to stay back home. A lot of organizations couldn't operate simply because all their business processes were manual. And after the COVID pandemic now, a lot of organizations now have adopted a new culture of work, which means that they enable their employees to work from home. So it's not compulsory for them to come to work every day. People can actually work remotely, they can work from anywhere and achieve the same results. So here are some common education management issues. A lot of times, in fact, that is what is prevalent. Processes and operations are paper-based. They are physical. Anything that is paper-based, I'm telling you, can never be efficient. Just like the Honorable Commissioner mentioned, if, God forbid, any organization that relies only on paper, the moment any disaster occurs, it means those records are gone for life. But with digital transformation, you can be rest assured that the system will provide a disaster recovery opportunity, which means that even if the physical document, disappears, you can still access them. I remember in the late 80s also, most of the time you find banks, being raised. By the time you are back on the weekend, by the time you're coming back on Monday, they'll tell you XYZ bank as also place, just God wants over the weekend. By the time you look at your left again, another bank on fire. Why? Simply because of the fact that as at then, most of the operations were manual. Because if you have to open an account in a bank in Canada, for example, if you travel to Abuja, you are not going to be able to withdraw your money from the same bank those days. How many of us remember that period? If you open an account, even within Canada, if you open maybe your bank branch is somewhere around this place, and you travel to another part of Canada, and you need cash, you can't enter to the same bank with the same name to withdraw your money. You have to travel back to the main branch where you actually open that account. But you can see digital transformation the way it has helped to streamline things. Even outside of the country now, you can transact businesses. You can do so many things on your local account. And this is a plus that digital transformation has actually brought to bear. Then when we talk about enrollment and admission processes too, these days now with technology, you can actually enroll people using handheld devices. People don't need to physically fill forms again. And even by so doing, they're able to capture their data accurately. There's nothing like, is this S or is this 5? The moment you type it, the computer will be able to recognize what you're typing, whether it is 5 or you're typing S. So when you talk about cost management also, it's an Herculean task. I've heard a lot of people complain about the fact that they went back to their former school, you know, for their transcript or for their certificate, only for them to be told that some of their results will not be found. A lot of people, a lot of times have had stories like that. So with digital transformation, they are actually going to be able to overcome that. The teacher's evaluation too, at the best of the bottom, you can do that based on data being collected. Attendance register, all of this can be achieved digitally. Then when we talk about communication and collaboration, this is very, very key and very, very important. You know, information gap will lead to so many things. And when you have different departments, you have different agencies, you have different associations that are interfacing to achieve a common goal. If you have a platform that enables them to collaborate, it's actually going to make it more efficient and effective. Because people can exchange information regardless of where they are. Just like this summit now, a lot of people are watching us within Nigeria, some are watching us from outside of Nigeria. All of this are being made possible by technology. So classroom management strategy, student monitoring, revenue management, forecasting and academic achievement, and in fact, all of this we can achieve with digital transformation. So now, that brings us to digital literacy. What is digital literacy? It is important for us to be competitive. We need to be digitally inclined. We need to acquire digital skills. Because without digital skills, it becomes practically impossible for us to be able to operate in the digital world. So digital literacy is defined as ability to use information and communication technologies to find, to evaluate, to create and communicate information requiring both cognitive and technical skills. So if we don't have digital skills, it becomes difficult for us to take advantage of the digital platform. We'll be talking about retrieving and accessing information through the touch of a button. It's not just touching any button. You need to have the skills, the understanding, the knowledge, and the wisdom to be able to know what you need to click, to be able to get the desired result. So, data literacy now, what is data literacy? Data literacy is ability to collect, transform, evaluate, analyze, and communicate the results to others. Both definitions of each of these terms are interconnected. So the ability to be able to collect data is not just about collecting data. If you have data that you cannot analyze, then what is the essence of such data? Today, if we look inward at our various organizations, we have very important data that we ourselves, we are not really, we didn't even realize it. And that is why an international organization will be ready to give you $200 million to collect data from you. We have data that will help to transform so many things, but we have not realized it. So people are ready to give us money to get the data from us. So data and information management laws and regulations now. Because this is a topic that we can take for a whole week, from Monday through Friday. I just try as much as possible to summarize at least to be able to touch on salient points. So when we talk about data and information management, there are certain laws, there are certain regulations, you know, that are helping to shape how this is being done in this. The organization has been taking up on this matter. So, the Freedom of Information Act 2011 was passed by the National Assembly on the 24th of May 2011 and accepted by President Goodluck Jonathan on the 28th of May 2011. So the Freedom of Information supersedes the Official Secrets Act, OSA, originally enacted in 1911, which forbids the unauthorized transmission, obtaining, reproduction, or retention of any classified matter. The Act applies not only to public institutions but also to private organizations, providing information is that public servants are custodians of public trust on behalf of the population who have the right to know what they do. In particular, FYA promises to remove the aura of mystery and exclusion with which public servants work the ordinary operation of government and public institutions. It also seeks to change the manner in which public records and information are managed. So it is essential for us to ensure proper and adequate management of records. So the Act builds on presumption of openness by placing on those who wish to keep public information away from the people the honors of justifying why they have to do so. It might not be all the information that you be expected to release. There are certain information that you will be excused to provide. So who can make a request under the FOIA? Any person or group, association, organization, etc. can make a request for information under FOIA. The request must be written with a clear description of the information being sought and in compliance with specific institutional requirements. So are there limits to which information request must be provided? Unless exemption applies, the information, if is held by the organization, must be provided to the requester within 7 days. That is what the law says in Nigeria. Then, do any criminal sanction apply for non-compliance with the Act? Yes. If a staff concealed, this is very important because a lot of people don't even know that FYA exists. If a staff conceal, alter, or deliberately destroy information, the staff will be liable to prosecution with penalty of a fine of 500,000 naira. Then, according to section 7, or imprisonment for a minimum of 1 year term. So you can see how serious this is. Then we also have a new regulation that was introduced in 2019. It is called the NDPR, Nigerian Data Protection Regulation, which means that anytime you are collecting personal data, you need to be explicit as to why you are collecting it and the purpose for which you are actually collecting such data. So the data protection is a constitutional right found in section 37 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. The Constitution, the Nigerian Data Protection Regulation 2019 (NDPR) is the main data protection regulation in Nigeria as we speak now. And even last year, 2 organizations were fined. One had to pay 10 million in fine, another paid 5 million. So we don't want a situation where our organization gets into this trap. Because whether ignorance, like they say, is not an excuse in law. So we need to educate our employees. We need to organize data protection, data management session for them to be acquainted with all of this. So the NDPR was issued by the National Information Technology Development Agency, NIDA. The NDPR expanded the concept of data protection under the Constitution. The NDPR makes provision for rights of data subjects. Who are the data subjects? All of us here are the data subjects. And the obligation of data controllers and data processors. Who are the data processors? Who are the data controllers? Any organization, any school that collects students' data, this law is applicable to you because you register students to collect all their value data, you store them. It means you have to comply with this law in ensuring that you protect all the data that you are collecting. You don't sell data to people unauthorized. You don't share data haphazardly, and you don't use data for purposes for which it has not been collected. And the easiest way to avoid it is through education. It is a fact that it is no longer business as usual, and technology has a bigger role to play. It is the new normal. We are now in the new normal. And any organization that fails to comply will find it difficult to survive post-COVID-19. So these are technologies that will ensure contactless attendance could be deployed by scanning students' ID cards or using face recognition devices. Students can record their attendance. In conclusion, The ball is now in our court. It is our responsibility. The opportunity is now being presented before us to ensure that we acquire all the skills and knowledge. That is, key stakeholders in the education sector that seek to collaborate with other organizations, with other institutions, that seek to work with other agencies to ensure that they invest in all of this that we're talking about. Future S has brought this to Calabar, and I think they deserve a round of applause. Please let's give them a round of applause. So this kind of opportunity is rare, and the most important thing is for us to take advantage of it. Maximize it. You've got that opportunity. Because I will tell you the truth here, that what Future X is doing here, if they had to monetize it, in fact, the state government will be paying millions. But this is an opportunity that has been presented before you. Take good advantage of it and ensure that you're able to take your organization to the next level. For that note, I want to say very thank you for listening. If you have any questions, comments, or contributions, I will be available to answer.
Yes, welcome to government. Please, ma'am.
We start with this song first. My head, my shoulder, my knee, my toe. My head, my shoulder, my knee, my toe. My head,
all distinguished directors are present, other guest speakers that have just spoken to us, education secretaries, ladies and gentlemen. I feel it's the leaders standing here as if I'm a preacher, as if I'm talking to the church. You would like me to move around. As a teacher, I feel much more comfortable interacting with people than staying here and talk. So I want to thank the future heads, management, for giving me this latitude to speak to professional colleagues. Took a listen to my profile. I have been a teacher all my life, and that is the best anybody can do. I so much respect the former Chancellor of Germany, who at a point increased the salaries of teachers in Germany about 4 times. Another doctor stand up and they went up to her that why must teachers be earning more than them? And the woman said the answer is simple. How will you doctors expect me to pay you more than people that taught you? So whatever a doctor knows, or an engineer or whoever, whatever they know, it's a teacher that actually has produced them. So he said, if anyone wants to be a teacher, resign as a medical doctor, then join the classroom. So I always cherish any state that give credence to their teachers and are passionate about education. I was so emotional when the Honorable Commissioner was talking in the morning. And when he said his encounter with futurists lasted only 2 minutes before he gave an approval. I'm a Yoruba man, and there is a proverb out of many of our proverbs. We often say that if there is palm oil in a soup, you don't need to taste it before you know. Again, no, if there is salt in a soup, until you taste, you know. But if it is the palm oil, mere looking at it, you will know definitely this is good. So I'm going to talk to us about data as a tool for reimagining or redefining or engineering of the 21st century education. If you are thinking of redesigning, redefining, engineering, remodeling, turning around our education in 21st century, how can we use technology? How can we use data as a tool? So I will be talking. The scope of my discussion is going to be on data. I've talked to us on data. And when we talk on data, what are we talking about? We take a look at what data is. Data can have meanings, different meanings to different people. But for this gathering, what are we talking about when we say data? We want to take a look at the types of data. And I'm going to restrict my discussion to education data. Because we don't have doctors here, they have their data. We don't have engineers here, they have their data. But the one that concerns us is education data. And then, when these data are gathered, how do we use them? And in using this data, we are going to talk extensively in a bit on what actually is 21st century education. And when we look at all that around, we will now look at how we can use our discussion around data to talk about using them as tools. How can they become tools in transforming or developing our education. So I want to start first from what do we mean by data. Ordinarily, as a teacher, I will have come to us to ask us what we mean by data. The first speaker has spoken, I will listen. I want you to think now, I want to ask us a question. What does data mean? What do you mean by data? You raise your hand. Now some of us are not telling you. That's what the pedagogy told us is that when students don't raise their hand, don't score them. Because they injure their self-esteem. Data, what does data mean? Okay, I think I see your hand. What does data mean? Data.
Data is a raw fact that is really yes until after it has been processed.
Well done. Please give him a time. Give him a time. Wait, a time is one. A time. A time. The second one is labaco. Labaco. Labaco is three. Labaco. Labaco. The last one is abarina. That one is 10. Abarina. You use it to teach counting in senior primary school. Then when I say forever, they will keep clapping and rolling and moving around. Yes, thank you. Because of our time, I define information. I define data as facts. Data is information. When you gather data, you gather information. And what kind of information are we talking about? They are facts. They are evidences. Things you can see, things you can relate to, things you can refer to. And that you do it in digital form. You do it in digital form so that it can be transmitted. You remember the last presentation told us that if you have a paper, the paper is with you. But if you digitize it, you may scan it or you snap a picture of it. Then it means you have transferred it from paper to a digital form so that you can use it over and over and over again. Once you put it in an archive, you save it, you can always recall it. The paper can be stolen, paper can be torn, paper can get burnt. But if it is in digital form, it's in the cloud. It's wherever you store it, you can recall it as many times as possible. Wherever you may be. Unlike the paper, you can only recall the paper if the paper is available. You are available where the paper is. So information in digital form that can be transmitted or processed to make decisions. We don't just gather data for gathering sake. We will see that as we continue our discussion. Data as well is factual information. I took a listen to the Commissioner in the morning. Some of the things we practice as data, they are not actually can be called data because they are not facts, they are distorted. And please get to analyze. Don't let any of us feel guilty that we have falsified records before. What is happening in Cross State is actually happening everywhere all over the world. In 2008, the federal government started the program we call School Improvement Program. It was an intervention of the UK government in Nigeria. And the UK government spent that program lasted 10 years. I am not happy to tell you that out of the 36 states of the Federation, only 6 states benefited from that intervention. And UK government expended well over 1 trillion naira. Only 6 states provided counterpart funding. The meaning of counterpart funding is that government of UK will spend £600 million in your state you too must bring 600 million pounds to the table. Only 6 weeks. It was that program that gave somebody like me last week to receive international training for over 10 years. And you see, if you saw my introduction, I said, I'm a quality specialist. In teaching education is unfortunate, unlike other professions, because we did not organize ourselves well. People working in education behave as if they are cursed. When doctors retire, they have things to do. They become consultants. When nurses retire, they consult. When engineers retire, they do. When lawyers retire, because they do charge upgrades. But when principal directors retire, what do? They retire to die. Because there is no skill. They can't do anything. Nobody will hire you on the ground that you've been a principal before. Nobody. It's unfortunate. It is because we have not really understood what data does. You are saying principals are falsifying record. Why? It's because of insecurity. Somebody will come to the director. I was talking to some of us during tea break. I was just rubbing minds with people. In Lagos, class teachers become directors. We rise to level 17. We compete to be permanent secretaries. In fact, we write exams. You know you finish the exams, it's online exam. Once you pass it, you get your result. Then you go for interview. Because the position is very competitive. And there are people that are doing even very well, better in this day. But because you don't have data, it makes it look as if you are not doing anything. I am told that the education secretary is here. You are serving members of the government, right? You are a government, you are one. But you don't say DS is political appointment. It's politician they put in DS office. We are not supposed to be technical, supposed to be headed by technical people like you. So you are head of other things like that. But economically, the economy, what the best law says is that 5% of money coming to the state from the allocation to education, 5% is given to ESCs. That's what the open law says. That's what the law says. But then you don't be happy here because you don't have information. You don't say data is information. They are facts. Let me go. I'm just taking that. So, factual information, such as measurement of statistics, when you have to give number of children in your school, those are statistics you are giving. How many boys, how many girls, give them. Measurement, we use it as a basis for reasoning. As we see that we are reasoning together now, and we need data to reason. So, the basis of gathering data is for reasoning, is for taking decisions. We can only take decisions if we have our facts. So, in education, we have different types of data. I'll take a look at all these. I'm familiar with all these anyway. I will just talk a bit about them. The first one is enrollment. There is no family who does not know, or the father or mother, whoever has the family, who does not know how many people eat from your course. Is there anyone? You can't get home today, madam brings 7 children. By tomorrow, they are 11. The first question is how come? That's the first question. So in education, we take enrollment. Another enrollment, we look at demographics. How many are they? I was excited when the director was presenting and their scorecards. In this local government, we were able to identify X number of schools. Wait. Don't be surprised that people falsify records, they falsify data. Because I don't know whether you took attention of what's happening in B-Mobile. Airtel now. that somebody has 48 children, and he knows that by having just 5 to 48, his money cost to jump from 10,000 to 20,000. Who will not be tempted to do it? Let us be frank with ourselves. We will not want to do it. If somebody earns 100,000 as dwelling cost, then by having just 10 or 20 to it, that 100,000 jumps to 200,000. You'll be tempted to do it. You do it. So instead of blaming the principal for falsifying those records, I think what the state needs to do is to understand the reason why they do it, the psychology of the school principal for falsifying records and why. I talked about insecurity. People falsify records for self-protection, self-preservation, and government should address it squarely. Then we will have good data. Then we look at gross intake ratio in primary one. In each local government area, which local government area has the highest number of intake in primary one? That's basic one. It's important to have it. Similarly, we want to look at pupil-teacher ratio. Is our learning achievement, is it rising or falling? A lot of things are responsible. In some schools, we have averagely in the state, maybe is 30 children to one teacher. The assumption of educationists is that where the class size is managing, the learning achievement will increase. That then will be responsible for better performance of private schools in our primary school than our public schools. I'm talking from data because I was the school improvement specialist for developing effective private education in Nigeria. It was the first PFID program in the whole world that used labor market work for the poor instrument to assess private education. So if private schools are doing better than public schools, it is not because they are teaching better. Because the teachers in private schools and teachers in public schools, they are selected from the same principal pool. Teachers in private schools do not go to a better university than the one public schools go. In fact, public school teachers are better qualified than private school teachers. So, you know, data will not lie. Data will tell us a lot of things. So, private schools do not carry tests that we have better teachers. That is not true. You have fewer children. Public schools have more children. Government can then address overpopulation. For you that have less qualified teachers, you too can qualify your teachers. There are many things around that. Data alone can tell us. Any other thing we are doing, that just guesstimating. Take a look again at out-of-school children. They say that in Nigeria we have about 20 million, right? They said before 10.2 million. And I am bold to say that you don't have up to that. The reason why you don't have up to that is because you don't have data. How does the UNICEF and UNESCO arrive at enrollment? They look at annual school census, national census. How many people are in River State or Cross River State? How many people are on the school age children level, the 8th grade, school age? And they take that one as the basis. And they look at growth rates, even if it's 5%. So growth rate 5%, 5%, 5% in 5 years, they can project for 5 years. And they tell us that this is the number of children that are supposed to be in school in Cross River State. But when they take statistics from you, they expect you to bring plus or minus, maybe 1 or 2% variation, either more or less. But by the time you bring your own record, it's just about half of what they have on their record, including all the postulations. So they then come up and to say that there are many out-of-school children in Cross River State. But the question is, do we have data on all private schools? the highest number of private schools in Nigeria, in Africa, and possibly in the world. Possibly in the world. For as I speak with you, we have over 22,000 private schools in Lagos, and we are still counting. Data is so important. These are the kind of educational data that will give us leverage. What about people's flow? People's flow is people that register in your school. How many of them drop out? How many of them are transferred out? How many of them are removed? How many of them are promoted? How many of them are repeaters? People's flow will tell us what it is. Then we move on to attendance. Every day, we look at punctuality. We should take data on regularity too. Somebody may come to school punctually, they not be regular. You come to school 7 o'clock every day. 7 o'clock, if the day you are coming to school is 7 o'clock, then you are punctual. But out of 5 days in a week, you come only twice or thrice. So you are not regular. The children as well, we need to look at their punctuality in the school. All these data we gather, they are not end on themselves. They are rather a means to an end. For every data the school gathers, it is for a purpose. We look at absenteeism too. When children don't come to school regularly, data is telling us something. Whether you are using our data correctly or not correctly is another thing. The first thing is gathering the correct data and using that data efficiently and effectively. We only look at school time and the learning time. Educationalists, we know the difference between the two. Our school time is 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock. 6 hours every day. That is the school time. And that is how it is measured all over the world. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, our school time is not as accurate or as much as that. Children should not spend less than 600 hours in a year. 600 hours. There are some countries actually they spend 800 hours, some 700 hours. You go to countries like France, go to countries like Korea, North Korea, South Korea. They spend like 800 hours. America spend like 600 hours, UK about 600 hours. In Nigeria, we spend less than 400 hours. And it is not that the calculation of breaking our schools into town are faulty. But the execution of our school time is faulty. We declare holiday at random. Parents declare holiday for their children. A child will have dressed up on his way to go. We are not going to go. Grandpa is doing his birthday and we are going there. And he will go across the water for 3 days. The child will not come to school. So the child has lost school time. They're talking about learning time. Learning time is the actual hour or minute that the children actually learn in the class. The first lesson in primary school, 30 minutes, 8 to 8:30, 8:30 to 9, 9 to 9:30, 9:30 to 12 or whatever, to 10, 10 to 10, 10-minute break, then 10 to 10:40. 30 minutes is supposed to be used to learn that subject. Depending on the age of the children, depending on the attention span, depending on the capacity of the teacher to teach. But unfortunately, some teachers walk into a class and they begin to tell stories. The learning time is going. Psychologists have looked at the age of children to determine their attention span, that what you make this child learn well can only happen under 30 minutes. And you should teach only this concept alone. But unfortunately, some teachers get to class and begin to tell stories. So they teach only for 5 minutes what children ought to learn for 30 minutes. So our learning time, we need to take records on it. And we look at holiday and vacation too. I've alluded to it here, where parents unilaterally declare holiday for their children. You never can do that in the US or France. You can't decide the day your child will go to school. It's not you. Because the child does not belong to you. The child belongs to the state. And so, data is important in that area. Look at progress reports. When children resume in their school, what is our learning outcome? When the child is sent to school, what should the child learn? And educationists have captured this so well. For every lesson, there must be session objectives, lesson objectives. At the end of the lesson, people should be able to A, B, C. The learning outcome. Our children, are they making progress? Are our children just growing or they are developing? The two are not the same. We need data even in that area. The primary completion rate. When our children go to school, do they complete? How many of them finish? Research has shown that in some states, children will enter primary 1. By the time they get to primary 3, 20% of them have dropped off. There are some states in Nigeria that girl child they don't transmit from primary school, from primary 5 to 6. And about 40% of those that manage to transit to primary 6 don't enter junior secondary school. In fact, if 10 of them enter junior secondary school 1, only about 20% will get to GS3. Information data. Data is saying a lot of things, but where we don't take them, or where we don't take cognizance of them, we may lose on other forces. Persistent in the last grade of primary school. I am aware that private schools are very guilty of this. They give double promotion. Many private schools don't have primary 6. Please, representative of primary school, private school. I'm talking from available data. What international organizations have spent money on is what I'm just sharing with us. For government to decide that basic education should be 6 years, primary school, it is not the decision of the Honorable Commissioner or the Governor or the Permanent Secretary. It is accumulation of data over years for psychologists to say this is how human brain develop. And looking at this trend, for somebody to do well in basic education, primary school, this curriculum must be learned for 6 years. And for our information, the meaning of 6 years in primary school is that 6 years is the least you can spend. 6 years is the least a child can spend in primary school. No matter how intelligent a child is, you can't short-circuit the learning process. The least, the most brilliant child will spend 6 years in primary school. But because of lack of knowledge, lack of understanding, many schools give double promotion. And that thing has consequence in the future. You begin to wonder, how does a man stand up and begin to slap his wife? The seed is sown in school. Because teachers, we are the one that will teach how to be a good husband, how to be a good wife. You are the one that will teach tolerance. You are the one that will teach cooperation. You are the one that will teach respect for constituted authority. But there is a clear difference from growth and development. Recently, our children grow suddenly, but they are not developing. They will just grow. So when you cut short their learning process, you give them double promotion twice. What the person has demonstrated, one, is stark illiteracy in understanding proper education management. Because education psychology tells us that every human being, we are ruled by 3 domains. You have the cognitive, which is your intelligence. You are ruled by your emotions, which is your affective. And then you are ruled by the use of your body, which is the psychomotor. But where the school owner emphasizes only the cognitive aspect, which is that 3.3% of that human being, you glamorize it, you expatiate it. You not say, oh, you are very intelligent, keep going. But the child is not developing emotionally. And that's why you have wicked leaders. They don't feel about it because their emotion is already killed. People may be wondering, why is the Honorable Commissioner at the PS, why are they so passionate about education? Are they the first commissioner at the government and the PS in education in this state? No, they are not. But if you look at others, there are possibly the part of their life that has been short-circuited. The emotional domain is not grown. Psychomotor domain is not grown. So we need data. Data should tell us all this. The problem we have is not because we don't have good people, but because we don't have data telling us all this. Still on glamorizing intelligence. You will see somebody who graduates at the age of 16. By 18 already is possibly an MD of a bank or is heading a company. And it's a lady. By 21 is married. He has got children. And she may look at her and say, well, I am rich. I don't need a man over my head. That's the emotional aspect that is not developed, that is telling you. It's not developed. It's only the intelligence. Yes, it's making it first class. Everything first. But it looks down on the books as if they are non-existent. It talks to colleagues as if God has never made them. The emotional aspect is not there. It's not grown. So teachers, we see that all of us who are fortunate to be teachers, God has from heaven ordained us to be pastors. And He has given us church members by giving us a class of people who come to us every day to mold their lives. So we need data in that field. Then we look at percentage progression, male and female, to secondary school. I've mentioned it. And then we look at higher education potential. When our children finish secondary school, how many of them are likely to proceed to either college of education, to polytechnic, or to university, or to do any diploma? What's the percentage? We need that record. And we need to juxtapose the record year by year, so that we know whether we are making progress or we are retrogressing. Furthermore, assessment of learning is a data that school need to collect. It's compulsory. With all sense of responsibility, I want to say this. It is unfortunate that even as we speak today, there is, please, I want you to hear me well. There is no university or institution in Nigeria where people are trained to be head teacher or a principal of a school. None. There is none. They will recruit you as a teacher with your Bachelor of Arts degree in education or whatever. And you begin to grow. They promote you level 8, 10, 9, whatever, you get 14. Oh, we are appointing new principals, and they will appoint you. You know the reasons why principals are appointed. Possibly you know the permanent secretary, you know the EA, or whoever. They appoint you. But while you are a teacher, possibly you are even the worst of teachers. You fight with your principal every day. You don't go to school every day. Have you ever heard of teachers who share out of children's food? They eat out of it. And then you make such a person a principal of a school. You can imagine the kind of school you will have. So there is no institution where people go deliberately that I don't want to be a teacher. I want to be an headmistress. And you go through it. It's not existent in Nigeria like other universities, other countries. If you go to Australia, if you go to UK, go to Finland, go to Denmark, any other countries. You may leave university today and you may resume in another school tomorrow as an headmaster. Because that is a career. It's not that you promote teachers alone. It is not a sin to promote a teacher to become an head of a school, but they must have necessary equipment that they need to use for that. So, the work of an head teacher, part of it is to observe teachers. What is my teacher doing? Seeing a teacher in a class does not mean the teacher is teaching. You need data. What is the pattern of teaching in my school? Like part of the data I was sharing, what makes private school thrive better than public school is that there is more monitoring. The owner of the school resumes every day. I am aware that in private schools, if you come late twice or 3 times, you forfeit the salary for that day. Can anybody do that in public schools? Those are the reasons why our results are not good. Private schools and the private companies, they don't give damn to whatever happens to you. You have a target that is set. Either you die or you deliver once you happen. But in public school, some people will say, my cousin's husband had malaria. So that's why they will not even tell the head teacher or whoever. Like today, the Honorable Commissioner was asking some people to stand, and I think he observed that about 4 people were not here. You can only do that in public sector. You can't do it in private sector. If Mike Adenuga, the MD or CEO of Globacom, ask all the territorial managers to gather, despite their territorial powers, they must come there. Despite their principalities and power, they must come. If they don't come, they should count themselves SARS. That's the public sector. Nothing happens. So it is their management strategy that is even more efficient. If we have that data, public school can emulate as well. That is the essence. And again, there are so many percentage of teacher retirement. Do we have the list of people in government service? Thank God for that data they shared with us. We have 4,680 teachers. How many of them will retire this year? How many will retire next year? How many will retire in the next 5 years? How many will retire in the next 10 years? Once we know, we can then have staff audit, and we have the recruitment process too. Let me tell you something that happens in Lagos, because I will be alluding to it. At the point the governor said, there is no employment because we don't have the money. Then, that's a problem, right? And for us in innovations, we have to think like an advise the government. A director that retires in Lagos, the salary of the director will pay 4 new staff or 5. So, you don't need to increase your appointment budget. You don't need to increase your manpower budget. Your manpower budget every month is 2.4 billion. And you have factored that in the budget at the beginning of the year. So the money is secure. And out of those, we have about 50 or 54 directors retiring. And that money will amount to about 420 million. If that is the case, therefore, quarterly, all the directors that retire January, February, March, in April, do a mini employment to replace, Ministry of Education, 34 people retired, Abby. Look for 34 people to take over the classroom. The wage bill has not increased, but you have increased efficiency. So as people retire, you plug in. People retire, you plug in. Until you now announce a new retirement. You need data to do that. Where you don't know who retires next month, or somebody wants to retire but don't even know he's retiring. Then, how will you replace it? It will not be possible. So you begin to see that when we talk of data, some of us are afraid. And I want to thank you, sir, for that clarification you made when the Honorable Commissioner said somebody should be winding up. Who is the director of ERC here, please? ERC.
Don't be afraid, though.
Not the exams.
Exams. In fact, you know, some of us, we are not performing at our optimal level because we are not really digitized. Some of the most powerful directors in the Ministry of Education in Lagos are the directors of PPRNS, Policy, Planning, Research and Statistics, Director, Education Resource Center, Director, Quality Assurance. Because those ones, the director of PPRNS and PS, they just came back from Abuja, from JCC, Joint Consultative Council on Education. The National Council. Okay, they just came back. And so, most of the things you do here, it is data that speaks there, not any other thing. If you don't have data, you don't have anything to say. So, we look at government investment as well. You must pick data on how much the government spends per child. Then we can know how much money will government need if we have an idea of how many children we are likely to have in our school next year. It will also help government to design after-school programs. There are some of our children, by error of omission or commission, they get pregnant when they are in school. Government should have provisions for them. They have never committed a crime. They have just eaten faster into the future. So we should help them to still stay focused. There are some people after they left school, they realize that they need some other skills. We need data on that as well. Then interventions. When we identify a problem, this is what data is saying. This is what data is saying. We can then design interventions. We can change a lot of things. Let me give us an example. We will say that there is interconnectedness in government. In UK, I think it was 2008, the report coming from hospitals and the school health programs showed that children are becoming diabetic. I don't know whether it's happening in this state. Children, diseases that are restricted to adults, they began to find it in children. Children are becoming diabetic, they have high blood pressure, diseases that are restricted for elderly people. And they went into research, and they found out that for those kindergarten children in UK, from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., and the rule came that you cannot wake your child earlier than 7 a.m. I don't know of Cross River State. But a lot of children in Lagos, they wake up at 4 a.m. 4 a.m. They are started hustling. When we realized that happened so often in Lagos too, we realized that by the time the child is 6 months, 7 months, the mother has already given out that child to a nanny. We are training those children to be callous. Because somebody like me, I was always giving to my mom. And without sense of respect, it's not a joke. I breastfed till I was in primary 4. I will be in school. I don't want to away from school, go to my mom. Wherever I see her, I'll just put her cloth up and put my mouth. Then I will go back. I already had I had my younger sister. I can't when she's sucking the I will push her every year. My mother never bothered about it. It made me closer to her. And although she died very young, just about 4 years ago, she died at 101. I cried like the baby I am. I cried so much, so much. And I realized that when we were growing, if our mother went to the market and spent just 1 hour, on our way back home, we run to meet her. Research has shown recently in boarding houses that when parents visit their children in boarding house and they announce to them that your parent is around, the boy or girl suffers out and says, what did you bring for me? No hugging, no shedding of tears, no clinging. Some parents beg their children to hug them now. They are even very eager to go. Mommy, I'm going. Come. Won't you hug me? No. Because the bond is not there. They are dead to their parents. And that's why many of them will travel abroad. They will not even remember they have parents. Have you not heard of young boys who use their mother for rituals? All these problems, they have their roots in our education system. Because we don't have the data. We don't get why. We should keep asking questions. Why? PPR&S generate research. Why are our boys becoming more callous? What is the role of the school? Why? Then we talk about public-private partnerships. Dr. Patrick spoke a little about it. He talked about a state that has 7 interventions. Authority, I can tell you, is Katsina State. I told you I consult on World Bank projects. In Katsina, they have GPE, that's Global Partnership on Education. They have NIPEP, Nigerian Public Education and Partnership. They have Qatar Foundation. They have Northern Girls Initiative. They have 7 interventions. There was one of the interventions for the girl child. If a girl goes to school in Katsina, at the end of the month, she collects, please listen, she collects $200. The program did not ask them to give them naira. They give them raw dollar in Katsina. $10 per day. $10 per day, $50 per week. And how much is that now? $200. $200. So, the partnership that you are supposed to enjoy, only data can bring it. Only data we have that can bring it. There is a genomics matrix. The children in our school, which kind of family do they come from? Is it polygamous home? Is it a monogamous house? Is it single parenting? Is it whatever? We should have data on it. Those data are for a purpose. They have the family income. We agreed that it's only the poor children that attend public schools. How poor are the parents? It's a thing we need to work on. Their dependents, family aspirations. What are the dreams of those parents they want from their children? Under private sector investment, that's where we have the private schools. How many of those schools are registered? How many of those schools are enrolled that you write their names down, the approvers? How many of them are approved? We have all this, so many data. Then when we gather all this data, what do you think we use this data for? What should we use them for? It is only when we have the data we can use them effectively. The data can be used for monitoring progress. Are we moving or we are stagnant? Are we on course? Are we online? Are we progressing towards the established benchmarks? What is the dream, the vision of the state? By year 2030, what goal have we set? If we have not set a goal, we may not be able to monitor the progress. Because if you don't have a vision of where you are going, you may not be able to. Secondly, data will provide the stakeholders information that will sustain the momentum of the activities we are doing. If we have data, we are making progress or we are retrogressing. If there is no progress, it means we have to redefine our intervention. But if we are making progress, we can be consistent even at it. And who are the people that use data? Government is number one. Because government is the provider of education. Why do I say so? If you look at the International Human Rights Declaration of 1948, Article 28 states that education should be free and should be made compulsory, especially at the basic level. And I think former President Olusegun Obasanjo captured it well by extending the universal primary education to include junior secondary school, and it becomes Basic Education Board, Universal Basic Education Commission. We need to have record that government can use. And what does government use the record for? Government use it to facilitate teaching innovations. This has been done in other states. As I speak with you, you are hearing for the horse's mouth. All public primary schools in Lagos State, our teachers don't write lesson plan again. Research has told us that number one enemy of teacher is writing of lesson notes. So that is a problem. And the order is about to solve it. And how do we solve it? We have a program we call Eco Excel. We call it Eco Excel. There are so many brands of it. Every teacher has a tablet like this. This one I hold, I show you, is the one that we developed during DPN time. Developing tablet education. We developed it. And World Bank adopted it for all these primary schools in Nigeria. 13 states in the north are using this one. We call it CASE. Classroom All-Inclusive Teacher Empowerment Solution. All the teacher needs to do. Lesson plan, primary 1 to 6, all the subjects, every day is here. All the teacher needs to do is to read before class. What are the instructional materials supposed to gather? That's what the teachers use their time for now. Data will lead to innovations. Educational administrations. How do we appoint people to head our schools? We can then forecast. You know, not only the pool betters, they forecast. We are supposed to be forecasters too. If we do this and this and this, this should happen. It is data that can help us to get that. Also, schools too, we use data. Like I was saying earlier, if our education system is not delivering the kind of skill we want, we can re-engineer it. And that's what the Lagos State Ministry of Education has just done. Shortly after the pandemic, we took a survey and we realized that 246,000 students did not return to school. 246,000. The next question is why? Where are they? We have data on them, location, home address, and our enumerators went to their houses. Hello, sir. And Jacob lives here. Yes. He's not here. No, he's doing the third week of resumption. Where is Jacob? He's not coming to school again, Gary. And why? When they even leave the school, what bank is the education? They are going to learn tailoring. This one come, he has gone to learn carpentry. This one come, he has gone to Sarukari to learn trading. Then there is a common indices. It means students need skill. Then what can we do? Intervention now. What Lagos State government did was to establish what we call comprehensive school model. We signed an MOU with the city of Tampere in Finland. They train our teachers. We met private sector. Schools are not producing people that are useful in the market. It's not that there is no job in Nigeria. There are plenty of jobs. But the unfortunate thing is that people are not employable. If that is the case, therefore, why don't we ask those service providers, what kind of skill do you need? Some people did this tiling. There are technology around it. Have you not heard people saying that what we do is different from what we learn in school? Why must it be so? Why are we not doing what we learned in school? So that's what the comprehensive school model of Lagos is doing now. Children want to be carpenters. We want to produce world-class carpenters. So there are companies that take big projects, big ticket projects. Julius Berger, they construct. They are the ones now that give us the curriculum for carpentry, for bricklaying and whatever. Anybody that has this skill, we will employ them. And that's what the Ekpe Electricity Distribution Company did. They've sent more than 260 students who finished in our technical schools abroad. They employ them, they train them 6 months in Germany, they bring them back to Nigeria, and they give them jobs. So it is data that will make us to modify our education system. And lastly, the community. You've had instances of parents fighting the school over some ideas. It is because we have not shown data to them. When children don't come to school, there was a time we realized that when the WASSCE result is out, a good percentage of our children fail English and maths. And we began to find out why. And we realized from records that majority of our children, they miss the first or second period. And first and second period most of the time is for English and maths. So if they continue to miss English and maths, how will you expect better results? So the only way we can do that is to ask parents to release their children early in the morning, or that the school should move resumption time further so that every child can come. And since we did that, the performance increased. So it is data that will tell us what to do. So parents then will improve the relationship with the school. It's not that parents are antagonistic of the state. No. It is because when we don't meet their needs, parents would like to hear that when my child resumes first time, the child weighs 24 kg. By mid-term, by default, if it's in the boarding house, you must come down to 18 kg because you are living regimental life. So you must prepare the mind of the parent that we take measure of their weight at the beginning of the term, and when they are going home, we take the measure, and you must report it. Some people will be apprehensive. Hey, Homoyi, he was 40 kg when they resume. He has lost weight now. They may begin to visit hospital. It is normal for a child in the boarding house. So if parents have the understanding, then they will have a buy-in into school programs. That's what data does. That's what it does. Now, 21st century education, people have defined it in different ways. But the only thing is that the meaning of 21st century education is the kind of education that empowers our children to function in the emerging world. A new world is coming. I hope you know. The children that are in your schools now, you will raise doctors. They are the doctors that do not work in the kind of hospital you know now. The jobs children in your school will do has not even existed. You are preparing them for a future that nobody knows. Presently, before anybody can do surgical operation, you have to visit the doctor. The doctor asks you to lie down. In the 21st century, doctors need not to see you. I hope you know they operate with robots now. Those are the children you are raising. And the Bible captures it all. It says, eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, neither has he entered into the mind of man. The Bible says what God has prepared for his children. 21st century education is what the Bible is actually referring to. Part of the things. The kingdom of God is not only when we get to heaven. The kingdom of God is now. It's now. A doctor successfully carried out a surgical operation about 2 weeks ago in one of our hospitals in Lagos. And you know, he was in Lagos and the patient was in Canada. They did not see each other. Just that the patient is in the theater room there. And the man operated the robot here in Nigeria. That is the 21st century education we are talking about. So schools, if you are still thinking, I want to expound, I want to begin to buy land, you are fighting with somebody, you are wasting your time. People are no more here, they are living in the cloud. And I have news for you. The white people have even left the cloud for us. They have gone to another planet and they already buying it out. So if you destroy this world, they will move away from here. They will not stay in the cloud, they will stay elsewhere. That is the kind of school should be taken off. Virtual school. Children in Canada can actually attend a primary school in Calabar. You don't need to see them. You don't need to. During the pandemic, we tried that in Lagos. The best mathematics teacher was found in Ibadan. The best math teacher. So people jump from class to class to shop from where? And people receive training online too. That's the trend. So 21st education is about giving learners the skill they need to function. And those skills are captured, they call them 4 C's. The 4 C's, they are here. Critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, communication. Those skills are not subjects that teachers teach in school. No, they are not. You must begin to allow the children to think critically. Don't ask questions that will make them redundant. That's the trend of new education that we are talking about. And whatever knowledge they have, they should be able to communicate it. Communication is very important. It is the school that should wear the education around this area. So, children have so much information now. And you can try it when you get to call your little children. Let them tell you the most expensive brands of cars in the world. They will tell you, although they have never seen them, but they know them. They will even tell you the price. They will tell you how many people have already in Nigeria. But you, the father, you don't know it. Buy a brand new phone. You will read the manual for 4 years. When you give our children manual, they tell you, no, daddy, don't worry, I can handle it. Because they are digital natives. You are alien. You are alien. So, that is what 21st century education is doing. Now, how can we now use data as a tool to redefine our education? You know, our education has a lot of problems now. Some of them, the Honorable Commissioner, the HC, has mentioned. Many of them you know. Many of them I know too. What are those key ingredients that we need to do to use? Critical questions when we think of our 21st century education. Yesterday when my partner and I were discussing, this came out in our discussion. The first thing is, how can we stay competitive in an ultra concentrated world? The world is fast-paced. Something you learned yesterday becomes obsolete today, is no more useful today. Something you will learn tomorrow may not be sustainable in the next year. Then how can we then stay competitive? How can Cross River State still become relevant in the education sector? How can we still produce children that are so important? And the second question is, how will we make evidence-based decisions? Most of the decisions we take these days are not evidence-based. I've just given some of the examples. You appoint somebody as the principal of the most popular secondary school in Cross River State. What is the reason? Are those reasons, are they very viable? What are the reasons? In the past 3 years in Lagos, teachers win brand new cars. And if you think you deserve an award, there is a website. Apply there. What is the new technology you have brought? Innovation you have brought into teaching. The people who are appointed, they are billionaires. They cannot people you can bribe. They will come to your school. They will observe your lesson. Then they will identify you and bring you further. Then, 2 years ago, 12 teachers won brand new cars. Last year, 2020, that was this 2022. 2021, the award was done this year. Classroom teachers, primary school teachers, won SUV, 13. Companies came around and said, for next 3 years, all expenses will pay. That's collaboration that you need for the teacher. Government should stop looking for money to do things. One of the 48 laws of power, when you talk of power, there are 48 laws guiding power. One of them is that if you must take note from fire, use another person's hand. If you can do that, then you're a powerful person. So a lot of things you see some government doing, it is data that facilitated it. These are critical questions that all of us working answering. Those questions can only be answered by data. Data will answer it. Data will make it to be continuously to be competitive. And finally, our decisions must be data-driven. Data-driven decision making is that there must be evidence. You must have information. Data-driven decisions. And what does it mean? It simply means that decisions that we make based on facts, verifiable facts that we have. And so, I will gloss over them. The first thing there in the center of all activities is data. Data is life, like I said earlier. Data is life. But when talking about data, the first thing we must know is that technology is key. Technology. And when people talk of technology, technology is not actually those big machines you see. Technology, by my own definition, my understanding is that anything you use to make work easier for you, that's technology. That's technology. Anything that will make, that simplify your work is technology. And if once you know that technology is key, you cannot run away from it. Whether there is any one of us here, either a director or whatever, that says, I don't need to learn computer, you are deceiving yourself. You can't even escape it. They talk about 633, about 666, I've been divided. You learn about it, that if you don't have that number, you won't be able to trade. Technology is the 666 of the present world. See, okay, you get to bank now. I don't know of Calabar, in Lagos. You can't go to bank and collect 20,000 in the bank. They will not answer you. They will ask you to use the ATM card. Yes. And you say, me, I don't believe in ATM. Then, okay, government will pay your salary. It's into the bank. One of our permanent secretary, they traveled to Sweden. They went to dollars. They got to Sweden. They went to supermarket. They couldn't spend the money. And why? This dollar, they said, here we don't use cash. They took it to the bank. They said, no, you can't open a bank account. So the money they took from Nigeria to Sweden, they brought it back. And you guys say, no, me, I will not use internet banking. It's fraudulent. It's my cash I will carry around. Nobody say when you get people, you go collect the money. So, digital literacy is given. If you want to survive in the 21st century, digital literacy is key. Technology is key. Then, oh, that one, data. I think what I wrote there is data don't lie. If you connect the right data and you analyze it, data will never tell you a lie. Data does not lie. It tells you exactly what it is. And again, raw numbers need context. When we say 10 children are present in school, what does it mean? I was talking of learning time and school time earlier. In our schools, we mark attendance register. How many times per day? Twice, morning and evening. It means a child should attend school 10 times in a week. I mean, 10 times if the term is 14 weeks. That means 140 times. When you look at the continual assessment report of the child, we often say number of times school opened, number of time present, number of time absent. Abi? Have you ever asked yourself, what did the school do with it? Nothing. At the end of the session, they closed the register. First time attendant, second time attendant, third time attendant. 1,240. Average attendance for the year, 12,605. You see it now, Abi? Have you asked yourself, what have we used this for? It's supposed to inform the nation to take decisions. When other states or other countries, children go to school 600,000 times. I'm just giving that as a hypothetical. 600,000 times. And your own is 12,000. Don't you think something is wrong? Something is wrong. A teacher, you observe lesson. basic lesson. The teacher only taught children for 5 minutes. He told stories for 25 minutes. That's data for you. Don't you think something is wrong? You don't take decisions. It's data that should inform our decisions. And so in an attempt to do that, the first thing we must first of all do is that we must conduct a quality baseline data gathering. You have to start from somewhere. And Cross River don't have data. They don't have data. Thank God you have done this baseline. You already have, your baseline must be qualitative. You don't need to shy about it. You want to correct the hills, then you must be ready to pay the price. Secondly, your instructional material, that is, the measurable instructional goals must be set. What do we want to get? At the end of year 2025, we must have gathered, identified all secondary schools, give every child SPIN, that's student personal identification number. Every child must have got that. You set that goal. Then you have the milestones. It must be measurable. It's not something that we should be able to do everything well. That is not measurable. Similarly, there must be frequent formative assessment. We said we would do this. Have we done it? ESCs, directors, we agreed that by the second quarter of 2022, which ended maybe in August, we said we would do this. Have we been able to do it? If you have done it, applaud. If you have surpassed it, applaud. If you have not done it, you come back and think, where have we failed? And then you move on. And then, the next one is professional learning community. ESC should have a platform where they discuss issues. Because something has not happened in your LGE does not mean that it cannot happen. When I was on SQ program in Lagos, there is a community in Lagos that students will only be in school till 10 a.m. They will get to school 8 a.m. By 10 a.m. they are gone. You know why? It is between 10 and 11. The canoe that has gone to the sea to fish overnight will come back. Some of those children will go to the sea to help their to the shop, to help their parents pack the fish. Some of them will go there to steal fish. The fish they steal, before they dry it and whatever, the day has gone. So until the next day. And it forms under the local government that was supervising. And what did they do? We made the ballet of the community. We told him our problem. He said we suggest solutions. And the parents said, why don't we start community police? And parents volunteered that any child you see outside the school between 8 and 2 p.m., just apprehend the child and bring it to the palace. The cabinet provided a room where they will lock the child up. And they said our parents will pay 10,000 naira. That was the end of school closing at 10 o'clock. That's the end. So we should have a community of practitioners. Our teachers should form clusters, English teachers, and we should monitor them. Directors in the ministry should be assigned. Particular office should oversee all this. Ladies and gentlemen, finally, as we identify problems, we should have focused interventions. Focused interventions. Interventions that can address that problem. While people are falsifying records, that is a problem. We should design intervention that will solve it. We should design intervention that will solve it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. So, if there is any question for me, I'll be very glad to answer them. Thank you so much.
At the point I sent him a reminder that he had 15 minutes more. I was not sure of what I was doing because I did not get the support of the crowd because I knew we were all enjoying the place. I want to say a big thank you for that very wonderful presentation. At this point, we want to go into question and answer sessions. Our question and answer sessions will cover the 2 presentations made so far. Ladies and gentlemen, permit me to call in at this point Dr. Patrick. Dr. Patrick, please.
Okay. Mr. Adebayo. Mr. Adebayo actually sent me back to school. The lecture. I loved it. I didn't want to give the all. I learned so much. Okay. Someone has a question. Your name, the organization you're from,
I'm Sister Mary Chopper. I am the principal of Adishla Girls College, Calabar. I know that in a forum like this, we are also allowed to make some little intervention and little contribution. While the second professor was talking, I really got carried away. And I was made to understand that data reminds us of the fact, or rather summarizes the fact that all that is working well. I was also interested when he said we are supposed to provide quality service givers in the society. And that reminds me of a little story we were told that two professors were in the plane. And when it was filtered into the ears of the passengers that the pilots that were to take them that day were not locally trained, everybody left the flight except the two. And when they went closer to them and asked them, why are you not leaving? Are you not afraid? They said, if they remember all that we taught them, then we are good to go. And that was how it went. In the last World Conference, I was present in Rome when the Pope made mention of the fact that we don't need to be a group of teachers in order to give quality service. And I summarize it by saying, Francis said, one book, one teacher, one child is enough to change the entire world. And that gave me hope. Right now, my short question is this. We all have good intentions, we know what to do, and we want to do it well. But in Cross River State, what efforts are we making to make sure that we go digital?
Thank you very much. I think the question is directed to myself. I should have built another. One is when it can bring value to your table. The Cross River State has begun a mission, which the commissioner said. I don't know whether you were there when he said it. It is a mission to digitalize the entire state. And that's why we called all the Cross River State. So the FHRX, we could not project so much of FHRX today. Maybe during the launch, we project the advert video. It's taking care of everything. There are 1,000,001 softwares out there. Most of them are learning management system. FutureX is taking care of the entire beyond. Learning management system is 25% of FutureX. In fact, we've not even started it. We are still going into the heart of school management system, which is what we are doing right now. You will notice, we've mentioned earlier, we are gathering data of students in primary school, secondary school. One funny thing that happened in the entire country is different organizations collect the same data all the time and spend our money. NPA will come today. UBEC will come tomorrow. National Population Commission is coming. School census will come. But the beautiful thing we've been able to do is that FutureX is putting all those things together on a single platform. You're giving that access. I want to use this opportunity to thank the PRS director. We work so much closely together, and she's always saying, we need data. When we came into the States, we started on where are we coming from? How are we going? But at some point when I started talking to her, I knew that I was the right person. She stood by us. She said we must ensure that the last child in this state must be digitalized. And ever since then, she has never quitted the battle. I know a couple of us should have called us. We need the data. She understands the pain of not having the data in the system. Thank God Mr. Adebayo was able to explain the interventions other states are having. When I was in Abuja for playing one of the interventions, I was not elected to select
to represent Cross River State. I was just representing. But at that presentation, the director of NEMIS called me and said, I'm seeing the data you are putting on, you have not submitted the last year data. I said, okay, I didn't come on the capacity of Cross River State, even though I'm using Cross River State as a case study. But I can tell you, you are going to have it very soon. And not too long ago, I didn't know that the director of PRS, she has been working tirelessly back to back. She always called me one day, she said, Dr. Patrick, God sent, it's like God sent it to the States because we know the vision we have here. And to cap it up, the leadership stood by it. So, madam, the state is already on the move. The good news I will tell you is that before the end of this session, every student in the state, including the mission schools, they are going to be on board. Lagos call their own spin. We call our own FXIG. Every child is going to be there. We are not going to say we are going to just add a number for once. We want to be able to track a child's record according to United Nations policy on NEMIS from the first year to SS3. We want to know. And that's what the state has begun. Let me tell you, Future X in this state, within the next couple of months, we are shooting high. We are above most, even of those states that said they have interventions. And my prayer is that in the next couple of months, Mr. Adebayo, I'm hanging it on you. If we don't have intervention, I'll hold you, sir. Thank you very much. You know, I would be surprised if you didn't ask a question when someone came to talk about law. I know you picked a lot around that. Thank you very much. Well, the first thing is all our data are stored in the cloud according to the new global policy because of disaster and all. That is one. Then number two, as much as it lies on us, we have two replication of our data. That's the data from Cross River State. We save it locally and also save it internationally. We are not relying on local data because your local provider can tell you one day, never took my time. All they had is crash. There's nothing I can do. Am I government? But the pain they will live with us will be for a lifetime. And we don't want that to happen. So where we store our data is where most of the world military governments, they hold very sensitive, store the same information. So if anything happens to that place, so we know the whole world is in trouble. So I have been able to answer your question, sir. So your data is purely secure. By the time we finish deploying Future X, what each and everybody sees is to the limitation of what you need. If you don't need the list of schools, why should you have it? The way we have tracked it, we'll track it to the extent that whenever we'll give you the log of all the time, the day, the minute, the hour that you logged in, we have it. So please, we are secure the laws. Do you have more questions? When GSM came, I remember that it was at 65,000 for one SIM and one useless big phone like that. Toraya. I remember those days. We called me back, my hand is paying me. Those big phones. But it was limited to it was then status based. After the years go by, it became a common thing. Before, and as years go by, it becomes part of our lives. Children is not going to, Future X is not going to lower the standard because some people are not as dedicated as they should be. I don't know what I call that privacy. When the GSM started in those days, market men never thought that they are going to happen. So the new world is emerging. There are requirements for the new world. Fortunately, Future X is working with the new world. As time goes on, even if the parents in the local area cannot have the smartphone, they can call the uncle, the brother, the auntie that has a smartphone to be able to access the student's data. Am I getting that? Are you getting that? So we are not going initially our worry is what about those schools that the parents that don't know anything? But the parents that don't know, that don't have phone many years ago, today, marketmen, farmers, they have phone. So with time they are going to move up the ladder to catch up with the trend. Cost. If you have a phone, you can access the tracks. Thank you very much. Do you have other questions? I'll take it from this angle. In as much as we are partnering with the government, on delivering future health across River State, there are certain things we can do, and there are certain things the government is required to do. And I will tell you that the leadership in the ministry have taken the battle personally. And I also encourage us, all participants, when we get back, I think I should allow Mark. There's something taller than me.
You don't set example with 1 or 2 persons. Some things will not work. And I think I can't tell 1 or 2 ESs. I will use you as an example. And when I said that, they said, no, please don't. I will sit up. I'm still watching. And I'm still waiting. There's a timeline. If it doesn't work out the way it should, because we don't want to frustrate this process, we must do what we have to do. And if you are the one that is going to stop us from succeeding, then we have to keep you aside and move on with the person who is ready. So if you don't want to work, for instance, we call all the ESs, and I'm hoping that all of them are alive right now. If an ES is not here, I'm sure something is going to be done. Because when I get back to the commissioner, if we don't set example with 1 or 2 persons, it won't work. Because everybody will just relax. As usual in the ministry, what will they do? They won't do anything. And if you want to do something, my brother in the House of Assembly, my brother at the National Assembly, but before your brother comes, we would have done what we wanted to do. So please, I'm honestly pleading, don't be used as an example. I smile a lot, but those who know me know that behind my smile, I can do what I want to do. So please, don't say Mark cannot do it. You may be thinking that Mark cannot do it, and unfortunately she doesn't. Because one preacher says, you don't believe there is heaven, you don't believe there is hell. Why don't you just, do the right thing, in case there is. So please, don't say they cannot do it, they have not done it before. Do the right thing, in case they decide to do it the right way. I don't know if that answers the question.
I told him our proposal. He said, we're ready for you. What do you need? And ever since then, we've been getting a lot of support from them. Thank you very much, sir. Very much. I think that was the last question we are taking. When it comes to data collection, it's a very critical process. The piece of paper they brought is the starting point. One of the things that we are trying to use to solve that problem is what we are doing here, sensitization. Telling people in need why they should need the actual data. Now, there are different types of data that we are talking about here. The biodata of the child or the teachers and government. You can only falsify it for a reasonable time. By the time we begin to apply those data, the truth will begin to come out. There is a way data begin to throw out falsifications within itself. Of course, there will be physical verification at some point from school to school. But there are some data sincerely we cannot physically verify. Like the scores a student has. When the teacher brings it into the system, it's quite difficult for us to verify something. Just like here is in physical data. But however, if you give a child that is not smart a very high mark, and we put that child, because we'll be running a lot of programs, child development program with this thing. And the child that is second first or did very well in mathematics and so on, and came here and scored 30, who asked questions? The investigation begins, the instructions will follow. So we'll try as much as possible to do the integrity of data is very key. We'll keep talking about data until it becomes available. Thank you very much. And that is, I was just prompted about that. Looking at data that has to do with student attendance and all that and all that. Some of these things, with the identification of every student having a unique ID and national, all your history from that standpoint to the end will be verified. If, for example, a child in the first year goes to school very well, second year is not going to school very well, third year is going to school very well, it throws up an alert for us of interest. Something is happening to a child like this. Then we can do further investigation. It's a lot of work, but we need your support. Thank you very much.
Let me start the report. I want to really thank God for today, for how He has seen us through this summit. When we started with Him, and truly He has seen us to this point. I want a commitment before I go on. And I'm going to call on the head of all ESs, the ES of Econ. I want you to stand up and give us a commitment from the ESs on behalf of all the ESs that this data we are talking about, what brought us today, from ESs. I want a commitment on behalf of all the ESs. Thank you, ma'am. On behalf of all the ESs. Please note. In the state. I can be here from the beginning of this summit. We want to conclude by saying that all of us committed to this program by supplying all the data and all the needed information that we are asked to present. I don't think we're too tight. It's okay to just say we were doing God being our helper. So I didn't have to say if we don't do it, she said what? Sanction. So thank you for giving me that. And I know that the boss are with me. They have spoken here. The secondary education board, Sudan, it's only technical education board that does anything to us. Are you with us or you're against us? Are you with us or against us? You're with me.
Thank you very much. Our first one is well said.
invite our board. NAS President.
Thank you very much, peers. I think as I gave my goodwill message, you heard me loud and clear. On behalf of NAS Cross State, we have wholeheartedly keyed into this program, even before this education summit. I said so. And the Ministry of Education, even as they are going around on reaccreditation, they can attest to the fact that NAS is even ahead of the Ministry of Education as far as Special X is concerned. So in summary, NAS is there. We are only asking you to come behind us. If it has to do with compliance, NAS is 100% ready. Thank you.
I had to do that because we are talking about political will. If I don't get your commitment, you can say you didn't ask me. So now we are all committed, we are all on board. This data, we have heard that data is life. You can't learn without data. And I want to let you know that one way of allocating revenue to a state is data. So if you don't supply the data, they don't know how many children are in school, they don't know how many schools we have, they don't know anything about our education system. They will not give us whatever they want to give us. So it is one of those things that we need. It's life. We can't do anything without data. It's as important as that. What we were doing before, when this one will come, we got 3 different groups to come and we have 3 different millions. Shouldn't be so. So please, I want to really thank each and every one of you. I see that I come for some workshops or seminars and summits, and by now the half of the hall will be empty. But you have stayed this long. I want to thank you so much. And for those my ears that says that traveled all the way, I want to thank you very much. I want to thank my resource persons. They came from the west to the south. By air is far, by road is farther, but they were able to come. Please, my resource persons, thank you very much. In fact, the last one, you almost made me a teacher. You almost made me a teacher. I so admired the way you did it. I said, why am I not a teacher? So I want to thank you so very much. What you have done in Lagos, I pray that you will be able to do also an even much more professional. And that whenever we call on you, you will please answer. I'm going to get your numbers so that if we have any issues about data, creation and all, we can still come back to you. Future X, I don't know where to begin and end with you. Our time is just beginning. When we get everything done, I think we will be able to finally sit down and say, thank you. But for now, we just maybe thank you. Because we are just, and what you have done, I think it's my director that will really, she's the one that really, no. Future X, Future X, I hear, I know. You're doing so well. And we are praying that you will do much more.
we have been told all that is expected, and oh God in heaven, we are praying that all these things that, oh God, we want our educational system to be better, you will make it possible by your grace in Jesus' name. Lord, we are committing Future X unto your mighty hand. We are committing, oh God, the governor to your mighty hand. We are committing the commissioner to your mighty hand. We are committing the chairman and even the chairman of the house and all our ESCs unto your mighty hand. We pray that the grace that we all need, oh God, to make our state better using data you give unto us in Jesus' name. Lord, we pray that all the finances and all the open doors you grant unto our dear state in Jesus' name. Lord, we pray that you're going to make it that, oh God, the future of our children shall be better and better in Jesus' name. As we go back home, oh Lord, go with us and grant everyone journey mercies in Jesus' name. This we ask in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Thank you very much, Mr. Director. I think we deserve a round of applause for ourselves.
Jesus, you're too faithful to disappoint me.